Kia ora, g'day, welcome back once again here with part 3 of my reaction to the Barney Fife of Baghdad, episode 140 on the Anti-Hero podcast with Brent, Tucker and Tyler. So let's jump back in.
Rob's teammates wasn't as bad because his lie didn't cover as much ground. It was, but they were still very much surprised that he had the balls to lie like that. We'd be here all day, going back and forth to Tim's stories to John's stories. Yeah. So I'll just the last one paints a good enough picture. But I'll talk about it. So remember when Sean asked Tim, he was like, "Hey, tell me about your first kill," and he basically lies about him shooting this guy in the doorway that was going after an AK, and it ended up being a complete lie because he was never on the assault. He wasn't qualified to be on the SIF team, so he had to on the assault team, so he had to be on a blocking position. Completely lies about his first kill. Here we go, Sean. Apparently. How about this? How about do some homework? Apparently, Sean likes to ask this question. Tell me about your first kill.
Man, it's just, it's crazy, but it's also interesting that people want to, I don't know, somehow fabricate or they must replay movies in their head or something, or scenes from a movie, and maybe they put themselves as a character in that movie and then change up a few things to make it as though they were involved in something like that. It's sad and it's concerning and it's disappointing that there are people that have done some amazing things, like getting to wherever it is that they've got into in their military side of things, but then feeling like they need to lie when confronted with certain questions or when asked real simple, honest questions, because they believe that people, or either the host wants to know or people would probably want to know. And then when you just lie about it, it's nuts, man. It's crazy to me. Anyway.
Maybe you'd be ready for it this time.
Was that affecting you at all? I mean, that's your first. Let's talk about your first kill. You said you were on the 50. Do you remember it?
Yeah. Fucking McMillan 50, we shot dudes like, I don't know, 2,500 meters. The problem is like, look, this is why I'm not fucking claiming 1 million of these fucking kills, because you can't get there from here. But I'll tell you this, the motherfucker's never shot again.
Okay. Again,
hang on, I'm just going to pause it there. I just want to add my 2 cents in first before we hear what Brent has to say. The first kill sounds like his was from 2.5 clicks away. One, how do you confirm that, and how do you take that as your first kill? I don't know how you confirm that. And it was good to hear John talk about like why he doesn't claim 100 of these or whatever the wording was that he used. But even to claim one, the other part that sort of seems strange is when, full credit to John for talking what he spoke about in regards to that's why I don't claim 100 of these or whatever it was, or 1 million of these. But then when he said, I tell you what, he's never shot again, I don't know how you confirm that. I don't know or understand how you know you've taken a shot from 2.5 clicks. You think you've dropped that person, but you don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know how you confirm that. I don't know how you can then say, but they've never shot again. That just doesn't make sense to me, Anyway.
There's another one that correlates, and there's another magic gun that shows up on the battlefield with Tim.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
What is it? Oh.
40 minutes, 55 seconds. We got to edit this out. What is it?
What's the great
408?
Straight 408 J.
Oh god,
It's A something. It's got an A in it. Something tack.
I know it's killing.
I have no idea. It sounds like they're trying to figure out what weapon Tim Kennedy says that he used or something. That's what it sounds like, anyway.
Me, you're so close. It's actually throwing me up. Shy tack. Okay, all right, and we're back on at 4122 ish. There's another magical gun that shows up in Tim's stories. The Shy Tac 408.
Yeah.
Now he's got a Macmillan 50 cal.
I think I heard him say, we're going to edit this out, but it doesn't look like they edited it out. They must have missed it by accident.
At 2,500 yards. Here's like just like then. No one knows that he has this gun. Again, we already covered. I'm glad that
2,500 yards. Hang on, I don't know about what is 2,500 yards to meters. Yards to meters, 2,500. 2,500 yards to meters is 2,286 meters. All right, man.
it is in the Sean Ryan show, so we can cover it. I get confused a little bit. I've watched, unfortunately, all of his podcasts.
Oh.
I get a little bit confused which one he tells his stories in. So he does tell it in the Sean Ryan podcast. And I kind of already covered it. Every guy I talked to about this was like, no, absolutely not. Like, it was so heavy. It was so painful. We weren't within distance. Now, it's funny he talks about a 2,500 meter kill, although earlier he was danger close within 400 yards. But now he's back at distances I told you they're at about 2K, give or 500. Give or take. And that was.
Oh, wow. So my, during the second reaction, I wasn't sure whether that was the danger close one with calling in close air support or calling in a fire mission, because that was the piece where he was talking about two Delta guys arguing over who was in charge whilst he's calling in close air support or calling in a fire mission. And I didn't know if that was the same. I didn't know if that was the same event or situation that he was talking about, where he said they were bombing and moving up till they got to the top of the mountain. Then the mortar situation, where there was incoming or outgoing, and then this fire mission. I thought that piece about the fire mission and the guys arguing, I thought that was a different situation. It sounds like, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it sounds like it was the same situation or same incident, contact, whatever you want to call it. And far out, that just it just doesn't make sense. Like what Brent has said, that you're dropping people from 2.5 clicks away to then all of a sudden you're danger close, dropping bombs pretty much almost on top of yourself. Oh man, it's just when your stories, it just highlights, when your stories are not, or if you're potentially, if you're not being tika and pono, or honest and upfront with regards to your words and what you use to describe the situations and experiences that you've been in, man, it can become unraveled and you can become unstuck pretty quick, based on what I'm hearing right now. That's a good point that Brent talks about or has just brought up.
Distances they were at. It is not a very accurate gun, and you would shoot so many rounds at 2,500 meters to a person. I can go into a lot of details with minutive angles in this gun, other than sorry, John. Like I said, I wasn't there. I can only ask all your teammates, and you're talking about other guys there saying we did this. They never shot back. That's a great story, but unfortunately it is unverified. Unverified.
That's the word I was looking for. How do you verify that? Like, you can't, well, I don't think you can, not unless you somehow get over there and then you're able to see and confirm that, yep, that's the guy I was seeing through my scope at 2.5 clicks away, or just under 2.5 clicks away, yards, meters, whatever it is, and I dropped him, and here he is. Like, yeah, how do you verify that?
At best.
At best. And again, we're only this far in, and we're already talking about all the things that you said that just aren't true. Even if this was true, even if someone were to be like, actually, he did sneak that in. What? Now I can't believe, it goes back to the same thing. I can't believe anything you say. You didn't jump into Iraq.
Yeah.
You didn't call in Cass. Danger close on yourself. You weren't stacking bodies. So with your teammate saying they never saw you do it, and your teammate going as far as saying they've never even seen you shoot your weapon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to side with the guys that were there and go, chalk this one up to didn't happen too.
It's definitely not a I shot him, no, he shot him moment. It's a completely different narrative.
No, it's a I shot him. I never saw that or even saw the gun you said that you had.
Even saw the gun.
So yeah, it's a little different. All right, let's continue with Tim Kennedy Sr.
And then we just killed and captured so many people. Like, I don't think guys really understand, like, you know, the lone survivor story, right? The Taliban, you know, on the Navy SEAL team. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't go well for the SEALs. Okay. Yo, bring 400 of your friend. Tell them to bring their fucking trucks. Tell them to bring their machine guns. And like, we would just kill all comers. All comers. You know what I mean? And you'll hear other guys. There's other times we did even more of this in Iraq. We just kill everyone that shows up. So it's like the lone survivor story. Like, I don't even understand it, because we would kill hundreds of people in a fucking day. Like,
Right. I think I mentioned, and I'm pretty sure I put it in the comments as well, but I think I mentioned part of me wishes I had have seen this, watch this interview before seeing this anti-hero podcast video. But then also now, as I listen to this, man, a large part of me is glad that I didn't sit down and watch this interview on the Sean Ryan show to react to it. It just sounds, it doesn't sound heroic. It doesn't sound cool. It doesn't sound like anything positive. Listening to John talk about this experience of the smirk and this wry smile on his face is talking about, and we'd kill hundreds of these people, bringing in the lone survivor. I think that's the Operation Red Wings. I think that was the one for that one. Bringing that into the conversation and talking about not understanding that, how that happens, and that you would just kill everyone and all comers in Iraq and stuff as well. It sounds weird, man. I don't know what Sean's thinking, and I don't know if he asks any questions. I'm actually interested to just watch this interview on the Sean Ryan show just to hear and see what Sean says or asks about it, or what he may ask about it. But it just sounds off. It doesn't sound right. Anyway, I'm probably not making sense, but to me, it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, show up. We'll kill you too. We don't even care. Like, I didn't understand how those things really happened.
Okay.
Wow.
Sorry, I've gone and cut them off. I think they've paused it. When you say I don't understand how those things happen, again, I don't understand. I don't know how it happened. All I really have is the movie to go off, The Lone Survivor, with regards to meeting the goat herder and the young boy and blah, 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 having a bit of a conversation, then letting them go. And then all of a sudden they're getting attacked by a much larger force than they were as a 5-man team. I can't remember what the number was, maybe a 4-man team. Like, yeah, is pretty easy to understand when you're outnumbered with that many people in a terrain that they know, that they control, that they've got people at different points, they've got comms going, they've got weapons, and you're just a small 4-man team. Like that for me is easy to understand how you get outnumbered and get flanked, and you're just in a world of hurt. If and when, in that case, when that happened to those guys on that patrol, may they rest in peace, those that passed away. Marcus Luttrell's team, Marcus is the only survivor, and the other guys that sadly passed away. But it just, again, it sounds off. That's a big statement, man, saying you don't understand how that happens. Not understanding from the context in my for my 2 cents, not understanding from the perspective of I wasn't there, but I can understand in terms of the SF nature of who they were and the job that they were doing, and how that sadly and tragically unfolded for them and the members of that team, and even even the QRF that came in and that got knocked down. I think DJ Shipley talks about that massive loss of life of these high-level Tier 1 operators, not only those guys that were on the ground as part of Marcus Luttrell's or Mike Murphy's team. Anyway, let's get back into this. This just seems weird. I want to hear what Brent and Tyler have to say.
Wow. There's a lot to unpack in that.
John, you don't understand how that happened because you didn't do anything like that. Because those guys
were a recce team, right?
And he was recce, but they were actually fighting for their lives,
like four of them.
Yeah, and they're and people are going to go back. Well, wow, you guys, that's not true. You guys already did an episode on that. Here's what I'm saying. It didn't go down the way Marcus Luttrell said, but let me tell you, those guys were in a firefight of their lives because they lost, because all but one lost it. And they were discharging their weapons, at least, and shooting. I got teammates from you, John, that said you've never even discharged your weapon that they know of.
Well,
so for you just to randomly on one of the largest podcasts, just crap all over those guys, I don't know. I got a problem with it. It's not very professional. And for him to be like, we just stack and kill everyone. Well, no, let me tell you what you did at this point. You stood safely from 2,000 meters away and you dropped bombs. That's very different.
Because he's making it sound like him and a couple buddies just fucking laid waste to hundreds of people.
That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like he's going in gun ho, and he does acknowledge dropping bombs, and maybe my small brain is just not computing what he's talking about properly. John, that is. But he is, and in particularly the stuff in and around Iraq that he's talking about, it does seem like he's making it sound like, as Tyler mentioned, that they've gone in and laid waste to, you bring 400 of your friends, bring your trucks, bring your mates, we'll kill yous too. Just that wording too, like the use of the words in that type of, when you're describing something like that, if that was happening, that's pretty horrific. It's not, I don't think that's something that anybody that's been through it or that's been through something like that, I don't think that's something that person would talk about in such a manner as so blasé as what it seems like John's talking about. And then I like Brent's comment about it does sound and seem a bit disrespectful from John, just from listening to him when he's talking about the guys from the Lone Survivor or the Operation Red Wings there. And interesting to hear also, sounds like they've done a podcast about the movie Lone Survivor and or Marcus Luttrell's version of events. Now, I have seen bits and pieces online where people have spoken about what Marcus described in Lone Survivor isn't how it went down or whatever. I've never bothered to look into that, but it sounds like these guys must have done something, or must have, had a bit of a dig into it, and maybe they've done something similar. So anyway, let's get back to this.
But it was, so if what he's saying was that he did that, but it was from the the airstrikes that they called in from 2K.
Right.
Okay.
John, what do you mean you don't understand how that happened? It could easily happen to you. You don't know the difference between incoming and outgoing mortars. I'm gonna have fun with that one for a long time. It's so ridiculous.
Oh man, that's good timing with that. Like that. That is funny. What do you mean you don't of course you don't understand how something like that could happen. You don't know the difference between incoming and outgoing waters. Man, that's the things you talk about or the things that you claim to have done and then or don't know. Yeah, they can come back to bite you in the backside, eh? Oh, hard case.
Let's let him continue to bury his own grave.
You know what I mean? Compared to my experience and what I saw, you know what I mean? And then so literally, man, I can't tell you how many days I got where we just killed so many people you can't even count.
Hold on.
Is that Sean going? God, how do I
you know what that reminds me of? I've been on so many deployments I can't even count. Let me help you out, Tim. 2.
God.
Let me help you out, John. 0 to 2.
What?
Yeah, it's a small number. It just you're not saying how many people you killed. You're basically saying you can't count.
I mean, I think the other aspect, the interesting thing is I look at that when they paused that screenshot of Sean Ryan. Like, Sean's a veteran. He's a Navy SEAL veteran in that SF space who knows how parts of the US military work, and in particular the SF space. And I can't help but feel or think that this is probably part of that reason why he shared, and I can't remember which interview it was on, why he said he tried to or looked to stay away from SF guys. The look on his face, to me, as Sean's face, the look that he had on his face to me seems like, is this guy literally sitting across from me, you know, telling me this, or is he lying to me? That's the feeling that I get anyway when I look at Sean's face in that moment, and he's potentially trying to search for a question or questions to try to either get more information out of this guy or to, I don't know. It's hard I suppose it's hard when you're doing an interview and you got somebody there and you're dedicating, like Sean dedicates a lot of time to his guests and making sure that they have the opportunity to share what it is that they want and need to share. So when you're in it like that, I don't think Sean's going to all of a sudden break character or stop and go, listen, I don't believe you. I think you're lying, blah, blah, blah. We're going to stop this interview if you don't start telling the truth. I don't think Sean's going to do anything like that, because I think he's working off the fact that somebody's been in SF like John Shrek McPhee and working on the values and the integrity that they should have and that most people within those units do have. And so he's probably, that trust factor is huge in the SF space. And that's, to me, is what sets a lot of, is what sets those units apart, is the level and the amount of trust that you have in the operators. But man, that face on, that look on Sean's face is so many. I'd love to know what he was thinking.
That's just according to your teammates. I'm not the one saying it. It's your teammates that are the ones saying it.
What is the unit or people that have served in that caliber think about somebody sounding like, I mean, there's a difference between locker room talk or at a bar versus getting on a podcast and sounding like a fucking psychopath. Like, we just fucking murdered him and killed them all. At like some point, and he's smirking and he's laughing. Yeah. It's like, man.
There's a difference between being kicked out of the unit and PNG'd.
Okay.
That's the part to me that, like what Tyler just said, I don't know about the psychopath piece, but it just sounds off. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound normal. Brent just said there's a difference between kicked out and PNG'd. I don't know what PNG'd means. I'm just going to go back a bit and see if we can hear that again.
There's a difference between being kicked out of the unit and PNG'd.
Okay, I did not know.
It's.
I have no idea what PNG'd is. So if anybody does know, maybe I'll try and look it up later. But yeah, as always, your input in the comments is always welcome and appreciated. PNG'd.
There actually is a difference.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And Shrek has checked both boxes. So
That is my question.
no one can stand the way he carries himself. Not just the lies. I mean, the lies are one thing, but the way he lies. I'm telling you, you want to talk about such a tight-lipped group of people that were more than happy to be like, "Oh, I'm surprised it took you so long to call me, Brent." and then tell me you should call this guy. You should call this guy. Yeah, I mean, you should call this guy. And then it was the easiest interviews I've ever done. Thank you, TK Senior. He did it to himself, as always. All these guys do it to themselves. And again, we'll probably get it in the comment section too. I hope this was by design, that Valhalla was going to take away his credibility by showing what kind of man he was, and by showing that he's an absolute liar at the end of his career. He's not a Green Beret. He's not a Sergeant Major. Again, the things he did at the end of his career, and then taking no responsibility for it, lying, acting like it never happened. And then people continue to go and defend him and be like, well, he was such a war hero. Like, we broke him. You think he's still a war hero? Do you? You think?
Man, Brent looks, I said it before, he looks pissed off. Maybe rightly so. Like I said at the start, I don't know John McPhee's story. I don't know what his upbringing was like. I don't even know what his military career was like, and or how things ended for him. But it doesn't sound like it ended very well with regards to when he left. I'm going to let this play for a little bit longer, and then I'll look to wrap it up. It's nearly 30 minutes.
He's a war hero? Or you think he's just an a-hole?
Yeah.
And he has been for a long time. I don't normally even get this.
You said a-hole.
Yeah. I don't normally get this unprofessional, but we don't normally cover guys who have done this type of thing, this type of thing, and then lied this much and are proud of it.
We've talked about a guy who pulled a gun on a woman, but his name was George Floyd.
That's right. Heck, even Tim, like after he's done being boisterous, does, like, we talk about his fake humbleness.
Yeah.
He does the fake humble.
This guy, it's on another level.
This guy doesn't even attempt it. All right, let's go. Let's see what else this guy does.
So with this, basically zero rules of engagement. Just kill anything that shows up.
I used to call it State Department by Shrek. I'm the fucking State Department here.
No, you're not.
I make the decisions.
No, you don't.
Kill everybody. Let's go.
No, you didn't. All right, stop there.
I'm going to stop it here. I know Brent said he's going to stop it here because he's probably going to talk about it, but that's nearly 30 minutes, so I'm just going to pause it here and wrap it up with my 2 cents. And then next time I come back, we'll hear what Brent has to say. I really like Sean's question. So basically, zero rules of engagement, just kill everybody. John's response, man, everything, it just sounds off and wrong. And I'll be honest, it just sounds terrible. Like, it doesn't, I can't speak for certain, but I don't think anybody from any country would want an individual who works in the SF, who's gone through all these things, has a high integrity, value set, etc., operating in a foreign country with just that type of mentality, saying State Department by whoever it is. Could be by Shrek, it could be by Bob, for all I care, and just pointing and saying, kill everybody. Yeah, that just doesn't make sense, man. Again, I'm glad I haven't reacted to this interview on the Sean Ryan Show, but at the same time, I also sort of kind of wish I had to have seen it before having been sent this. But at the same time, I'm grateful also that I've been sent this by a few people, a number of people that I know as well, and I guess them knowing a little bit about me and knowing me to a degree probably understood that, that I might react this way, or that I might have some thoughts and stuff around it. But this just sounds completely off with regards to what Mr. McPhee is describing. If that was the case, like, it sounds like, you could potentially be charged with war crimes. Why hasn't this guy's name come up from the Iraqi officials or government or the Afghanistan government with regards to potential war crimes? Like, when I'm sitting here listening to this, I'm thinking, holy heck, you're laying waste and stating that you are the State Department and that go kill everybody. Those are your orders, that you're the one in charge running the show. That doesn't sound good and or right at all. Just, doesn't sound right. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up here. We'll come back on the next reaction and hear what Brent and Tyler have to say about it. I don't know what their thoughts are going to be. I would imagine, well, no, they'll probably have better words that they'll use with regards to John's comments. I could hear Brent talking, saying, no, you didn't. No, you weren't. You didn't do that. So clearly he's got some more information and research, and he'll probably speak about that in the next one. But anyway, thank you for your time, man, for sticking around and hearing my 2 cents with regards to this particular video that the Antihero podcast has done. Again, I don't know John. Massive respect to him for his service and what he's done and going through what he's gone through with regards to his time in, I think, the Green Berets and then going into Delta. Sad to hear without knowing all the detail what may have led to him being dismissed or discharged and or PNG'd, whatever that means, from the unit, from Delta Force. And so that's a shame without knowing all of that stuff and what it is. But just pretty sad if these things of what we're listening to and hearing if they are lies. And it sounds like so far a lot of the stuff that I've heard anyway, based on second, third, fourth hand information from Brent, based on the people that he's spoken to and then sharing on here, based on that information, it sounds like a lot of the stuff that John is speaking about is probably false. And that's a shame. I've spoken about that enough, but hopefully he's past that, or maybe one day he'll come out. I guess probably not, if you've gone on this long and told these types of stories, probably the person's probably not going to come out and say, oh, sorry, I was just joking, or I was lying about that. So tough place to be, man. The SF community is a small community, regardless of which country, even though America's so huge. Like, it's pretty easy for them to, it seems like, to verify and confirm statements, claims, things that people are talking about. And this seems like just another one of those examples where they're able to do that. So anyway, thanks again, As always, the message is the same, regardless of your challenges or difficulties, trials that you may be going through. Man, just keep turning up wherever you can. Do your best to just be a straight shooter and tell the truth with regards to what it is that you are doing or have done or may have done, just to save any heartache that may come back down the line. So, but don't give up. Just keep sticking in the fight, stay in the fight, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other and take one day at a time. I promise you, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you've done, things can do and will get better if you want them to. And if you're willing to pay the price, pay the cost, with regards to whatever that is, whether that means owning your mistakes, whether that means coming clean with regards to things that may have been spoken about before or said that weren't true, whatever, or whether it just means grinding out the hard challenges that you're facing at the moment. Whatever it is, just stick at it. I promise you things will get better. The sun will shine again. As always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there's a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.